Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Campus Care Ed Talks. Ed Talks, a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the day is effective methods to encourage cooperation from children in classroom and to express her viewpoints on the same. We have with us Dr. Kavita Bajpai ma'am, director and co-founder
Thank
of
you.
the
Thank you.
International School of Thrissur. A very warm welcome, ma'am. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm good. Thank you so much, Mahek.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am.
Likewise. The feelings are mutual, I believe. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So let's start off with the session, ma'am, shall we?
Yeah, yeah, please, please. I'm waiting.
So, ma'am, firstly, when we talk about, the effective ways to teach children to cooperate, so what are those? What is the most effective way to teach, children to cooperate in the classroom?
See, the first of all, this is very important for us to understand what is cooperative learning or what is called cooperation. I remember when we were children, so the cooperation was something which was never a separate word or a separate topic. I think it was a way of life. And then in between, perhaps the major reason over there was the joint families we were coming from. And of course, with the change in the lifestyle and for the better opportunities, people have started moving, far from their roots, from their native, and the joint families have turned into nuclear families. And then maybe the word of cooperation is something which has come into the existence where parents were to teach this
Yeah.
to the children or the school were to teach. Because as I said, when the joint families were there, so it was never something which was to be taught. I mean, we grew up seeing, even in the kitchen, we knew that our aunt, our mother, everyone is working together and, helping each other. We knew that there was a division of role, the clear division of role in the families. So all those things were something we grew up with.
Yeah.
So for us, it was one of the virtues, maybe, but today it has become a compulsory skill because of the changes. And there is nothing what we have to blame for or we have to regret about because at the end of the day, we have progressed a lot over past few years. And understanding cooperative learning is something which is very important, and the importance of this is very important before we actually move towards the effective ways, like how to teach. So the cooperative learning is something where you learn in small groups. You feel accountable for each other. The failure of the group is your failure. The success of the group is your success. That kind of the belongingness when you talk about that is called cooperative learning. Now, this should start from home, should go to school, and should stay with us forever. I mean, this is how it should be. Because when we talk about 21st century skills, I think this is one of the most important skill today, how to collaborate or how to cooperate. Whether you talk about globally, because the world has turned out to be a global village, or you talk about at a local level, even with your neighbors, within the siblings. And it's very important to be, to have the sense of belongingness, or to sense the sense of accountability, because that brings a feeling of responsibility, that brings a feeling of planning, structuring, discipline, time management. So there are a number of, I would say the virtues and the skills which are associated with it. And in one simple line, if I have to say, the cooperative or learning or the cooperation or the collaboration
Yeah.
is something which divides the task and multiplies the success. So that is all about cooperative learning. Now, what are the ways to teach, the effective ways to teach the cooperative learning? So there are a number of things. So, first of all, the environment. The environment has to be created where the cooperation comes from that environment only. I very strongly endorse that before anything else, the physical and the emotional environment for any house or any place where the children are associated with. It could be any activity class, it could be a school, it could be a sports arena, it could be a home. The environment matters. So the environment has to be developed in such a way that the cooperation and collaboration comes becomes a part of it automatically. Now, what we can do to do so? So basically, at home, the parents or the family members, and in the school, the teacher's role becomes very, very important. Now, since I'm talking to you as an education leader or maybe an educator, I mean, this is how I love to be addressed. So, I would here going to talk about how a teacher plays an important role or plays a fulcrum when it comes to the effective learning through the cooperation or collaboration. So, to establish this, it is, for any classroom's success, it is a very critical aspect. So, one has to establish the environment, one has to establish the feeling. And how it happens? It happens through the structuring. And what is the structuring? I'll just give you a very basic example. The belongingness. So maybe the classroom which the teacher, where I'm talking about where the mother teachers are, the homeroom teachers are. What you can do is you can create a classroom mascot. Now that mascot becomes the identity of that class. Now all the children will be relating themselves to that mascot. Further to the class teacher can divide the whole class into few groups. And when we talk about the groups, so it is always a good idea to have a group of 3 to 4 children, 5 children, nothing less, nothing more, depending upon the the class strength. Now, each group should be divided in such a way that each group should be having, the multiple level of intelligence. It should be having multiple level of talent and innovation. So maybe a group is having a leader, so same group is having a follower, having a strategist, having, all these children, they are born with these skills. So a teacher has to identify the right kind of the people and she has to divide the class into the right kind of the group. And then, to create the further belongingness, maybe she can number it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe any activity which is being conducted. So a teacher can quickly say, okay, all number three come forward and do that. So the every student from that class of that particular group, immediately they get the belongingness to that group.
Yeah.
Later comes the entire class. So number three come forward. So all the number threes from all the groups would come forward. So these are small little things which can be brought into the action and which can be actually made the way of life in the classroom management. Then a teacher can also have maybe a simple dice when she can have just rolling them and saying, okay, the whichever number is coming, that particular child has to come forward. And that can happen maybe through roll call also. So suppose a class which is having, say, 24 children, ideally this is how we say 1 is to 12, so 24 kids. So it may be having 6 groups. 6 groups means 4 children each. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe she can do it vice versa, like 4 groups, 6 children each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So every time she's rolling the dice, it is coming, say, number 5. So all the number 5 has to come and take up the responsibility of the classroom cleanliness. So developing these kind of the things is very, very important. Also a teacher can also keep a timer. So maybe if I have given a task as a teacher to the class children, say, okay, now I am teaching you a topic, say friction. Now I'm giving you 2 minutes time where you have to think an activity within your group, and someone has to come forward and describe that activity. So when this is happening, I'll say, okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes time. My timer is there. So the moment timer stops, automatically the students, they drop everything and they actually wait for their turn of presentation. So now what is happening? You're teaching them the time management. You're not shouting your lungs out and you're just telling them just be in a row, this is the time is over and all those things. You're just teaching them. So you have to lead by the example. You have to set up the examples and they have to follow you. So there are a number of ways by which we can actually bring in these kind of the possibilities of when we talk about the effective way of collaboration. So, every teacher can come up with any innovative idea, and I'm sure these students will be there who would like to participate, because one beautiful thing is happening over here. The instructions are coming from the teachers, but at the end of the day, execution is happening through the students, and this is what they love. None of the students, even if I ask you about your childhood days, you would never remember a class where you were just sitting and looking at the board and following the instructions. Your teacher is instructing, but involving children to execute. So the first step of collaboration or cooperation is to teach them, number one, the involvement, to plan the activities which make them accountable, for their responses or their action. Then the belongingness to that group. Later it happens to the class, then it will happen to the school, then it will happen to the city, city to state, state to country. This is how it happens. And then you feel that yes, this is mine, or I am accountable for that, or I'm responsible for that. So again, I said the timer could be another good thing, dice could be another thing, maybe a color coding can be done, or the teacher can put up an incentive board. We do it in our school. We have incentive board, so every class mascot, so maybe a class which is having a mascot a tree. So every time a child does something good, one bird goes and sets on that tree which belongs to that child. So suppose there are 24 children, so there will be 24 cutouts of the tree, and there will be so many small birds cut out with the teacher. Every good task, it is getting, pinned there. So what is happening? The students are looking forward to do something so that they are there. So any kind of the acknowledgement, any kind of the appreciation, any kind of the activities which is involving them is a good idea to do that. So these are very basic things which I have told you, but I'm sure the teachers are innovative enough these days and they can find out some more ways to do that. But the key remains the same: bring the sense of belongingness, responsibility, accountability, and at the end of the day, it's all about cooperation and collaboration.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was, absolutely, that children also they do enjoy these kind of things, because I do remember when I was in class seventh, my English teacher, what she did was, she distributed a lot of, story books among us so that we could read those books, and we were told to, whenever you are finished with this book, just exchange it with, the person sitting next to you. So that is how we used to talk in English,
Collaboration.
yeah,
Correct,
in our
correct.
classroom,
Yeah.
just because for those storybooks. So that was really fun.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, today also you're also remembering something which
yeah,
was different, which connected you with other people, isn't it?
yeah.
And believe you me, when we talk about, this public speaking and stage fear and all those things, nothing will stay when these kind of the actions are happening. The only thing is you have to start with a small group. You cannot just deal with all 24 children together.
Yeah.
You just have to divide them, structure the class, and then accordingly one has to.
Absolutely, ma'am. So moving forward, ma'am, how can a teacher, achieve good cooperation in the class? How can they make sure that the students are listening, they are actually, learning whatever that has been taught and raising questions and all this stuff?
Yeah. Very important question, because the first question which I answered what has to be done.
Yeah,
But what has to be done is, it remains very bookish or very methodical
yeah,
till the time it is not in action. But when it comes to the action, then we actually face the ground realities, the real kind of the challenge and challenges. And the thing, what I always tell all my teachers, and I would like to say from this platform as well, patience is the key. Please understand that you are an adult, they are not. Please understand that they are still going through number of stages which you have already gone through.
yeah,
You cannot compare what you were at their age and what they are today, because you were born in the age when you were having that black phone that you used to dial and you used to talk. I mean, at least I was born in that time. And later those push button phones come in, later those cordless came in, and this generation is being born with smartphones. Even for us, mobile phone was a very different concept. We used to dream about it, but they are being born with smartphones. So no comparison, first of all, with your time to this time. Second, having patience is something which is very important, because now the lifestyle have changed, the stress levels have changed. When I was say 10-year-old, never knew what is headache, or what is the stress. You talk to a 10-year-old child, they'll tell you what is headache and what is stress, right? Of course, but there is a positive side also of it. Like when I was 10-year-old, I was hardly aware of what is happening in the world, but today they are aware of like which iPhone is being launched and when. They're so updated and they are so upgraded. They keep themselves upgraded with the things. So that is one thing. Then second is, what we actually, this is the biggest mistake. What we do, we don't focus rather what they can do. Our focus remain become very generalized. We just cannot focus at what they can do,
yeah,
right? So there is a difference. If you are saying, okay, this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done, that is a very generic statement. But when you see, okay, this is a class which is little more kinesthetic in nature. Nowadays, people have started labeling such children as, hyperactive, which
yeah,
they are not. They are kinesthetic learners. They want to move around and then they want to learn. So if you have majority of these children, So that focus that they cannot sit at one place and they cannot do right from the day one what you want. So you'll have to design and structure the classroom action and activities in such a way that slowly and gradually you are calming them down and you are ensuring that they're sitting at one place and working. Same way, it has to be a very role model kind of the behavior. So you are talking about cooperation inside your class, and in the corridor of the school, you are getting into some altercation with your peer group, with your own colleague, or maybe you are just being very straightforward in front of your children. Maybe a teacher comes and requests for something, your colleague comes and requests for something, and you say, "No, I cannot do that." And you are the same who just taught the importance of cooperation 2 minutes back. So again, whatever you have taught becomes completely null and void because you're not practicing it by yourself. So being a role model is something very important. Another thing what I feel that one should offer choices. I always say one thing. I'm just giving you a small example, and wherever you feel that I'm going overboard, you can always cut me in. But I'm just giving you one small example. When we wish to go as an adult, I want to go for a movie. I will just announce in my family, okay, today let's go for a movie. And I will get my children, though I don't do, but I'm saying in general conditions it happens. So we simply announce that we have to go, and then we expect that our children will also get ready and they will come along. Right? Fine. I think this is how we have grown up with. Our parents used to announce and we used to follow. Now, when our child says or when our children says that they want to go to meet their friends or go to the park or something, and suddenly our work comes in between. No, today we are not free, tomorrow we are not free. This is the time driver is not available, that is the time this is not
Yeah.
functional. Number of things. Now what is happening? You're not treating them as human. Respecting their feelings. You're not respecting their choices. You're not respecting the decisions. You're just announcing yours, but you're not listening to them. I'm not saying that listen to whatever they are saying, but it has to be very rationally presented in front of the children by the parents as well as by the teachers. Because I very strongly believe, and that's how again and again I'm talking about the parents and teachers, simultaneously, that for the growth of holistic growth of any child, the teacher and the parent, or you may say the school and the parent community, they are the equal stakeholder. So when they are the equal stakeholders, then they should own up the equal responsibility. So the patience, being a role model, offering choices, these are something which is very important. Then reward, acknowledge if they are doing something good. As I told you in my previous answer about the incentive board. So incentive board again, it cannot be generic. One size doesn't fit all. So I cannot be only giving incentive to the children who are doing completing homework every day.
Yeah.
But yes, a child who was not doing homework for past 1 week, now suddenly I found for past 3 days the homework is coming back on time. The child deserves the incentive.
Exactly.
So this is highly teacher centric thing, and it is not teacher centric in terms of that the teacher has to decide. No, teacher centric because the teacher has to play a fulcrum here. She should be very understanding. She should be connecting with these children. She should be admiring them. She should be understanding them, listening to them, and then only designing the structure for the class. So when it comes to the execution, I think the teacher has to play a major role, and the role starts, as I said, being patient to respecting and understanding the feeling of the child, and everything lies in between. And this is how you can actually create, or this is how you can actually bring or encourage the cooperation in class.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much. That was, really a wonderful explain by you. Absolutely, I do agree with the point. I think everybody here could agree with that point. Taking out time for your, children. As a parent, also, we are responsible. Parents are equal
Yeah. So can I
stakeholders.
just
Yeah.
add one more thing over here? I'm sorry, but I found it is also very important, because right now what we are doing, I'm just talking about how a children has to do, sorry, how a teacher has to do, right? But there also, I think the leaders in the school should provide the enough handholding to the teachers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what happens, teachers design the structure for the class, okay? They try to execute it, and at the end of the day, find they may be kind of the time consuming, or maybe there is a lot of agreement and disagreement happening within the groups itself, or maybe the kind of work she's trying to divide that is not getting divided as per the aptitude and attitude of the children of that particular class. So I think the leaders should also provide the handholding. So before the teacher actually executes anything in the class, The planning mode only, the intervention from the leadership come in. Again, what we do for the teachers, the leaders, what we do for the students should happen for the teachers also. So when we are talking about the encouragement, the leader should also show the encouragement, the correction, the patience, everything. So I'm sorry, but I thought that it is very important to
Yeah.
be added. Yeah.
It is indeed important, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, ma'am, this we were talking about the, children, the students studying in the school. So, how do you promote, cooperation in childcare?
So, see, childcare again, if you are referring to childcare to the nurseries
Yeah.
or the kindergarten, or you are talking about, at home childcare. So, what are you referring to
So, ma'am,
here?
childcare, for example, like the children in the crèche and, those who are not going to school yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there, the first thing is use gambits,
Yeah.
the magic words. I think everything starts from here.
Yeah.
The moment children are coming and the teacher is welcoming with a smile, oh, welcome, I missed you so much, or, whatever. Some statement which is connecting the child. Oh, my teacher was missing me because I was at my home, or maybe like my teacher is saying welcome, so it means this is my place where I'm feeling welcome. So first of all, having a good smile on your face, that is very important. Number two, creating the environment, as I always say. And when I say environment, it doesn't mean that you put up a lot of posters and cartoons and all those things. No. Environment can be very subtle, very simple. Only everyone, right from the security to the nannies, to the ground staff, to the teacher, to everyone should welcome them with a smile on their face. Followed by the gambits should be used quite often. The magic words, sorry, thank you, you have been very nice, thank you for sharing, thank you for listening, all those things. What is happening? You're building onto the communication, as well as you're building onto the compassion and the belongingness. So in childcare, I think we can start from there. And there, the role of just not a teacher is important, but also the support staff and the nannies are equally important. So we have to identify, there has to be the right kind of the people around the children. There's nothing wrong or right, like no person is wrong or no person is right, but
Yeah.
there are right kind of the fitment to the environment, and this is what I'm referring to. So there has to be a proper fitment. The people you're hiring, the people you're taking on
Yeah.
board, they should be neat and clean, they should be smiling, they should be talking softly and gently to the children, they should be acknowledging children, rather than getting irritated. Maybe a child who's very may not be. We're talking about the child cares may not be a solid trained child. Now, if the nanny who's taking care of that child is getting irritated or not being
Yeah.
very cooperative or very pleasant with her reaction, I think that would close the child emotionally then and there only. You
Exactly.
will be developing a very different child there. So here, the emotional side matters the most. And these are the children, they observe you and they imitate you. So how you are talking to each other is also very important. So it's about being the role model, being compassionate, being polite, being generous, being using the gambits or the magic words are something that's very important at this stage, because from there you actually build the foundation. So, yeah.
Right said, ma'am. The children at that age just imitate, us, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, we
And they
have to.
observe. They observe like anything. They are the biggest observer I have seen that age group. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Kavita ma'am, for being here today. It was, a very wonderful session with you.
Thank you so very much. I hope I could contribute constructively because I have a lot to talk about it.
Yeah,
But I always feel that this is something. Sometimes I feel sorry that we are talking about teaching cooperation, which should be inbuilt. But you you came up with a very wonderful question about the child care. I think from there only, if we start inculcating or building on the environment around this, then we don't have to talk about how to teach.
yeah, exactly.
We will only have to talk about how to nurture it further or how to groom them further. That's it.
Yeah, so there's a saying, I don't know if that is relevant to what you just said or not. I would just say it that it's, better to create strong children than to repair broken adults. I think it
I totally
perfectly suits.
agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Yes, yes, it perfectly suits here, and this is what we are talking about.
absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope, the educators and the students watching us out, the viewers watching us out got to learn a lot from your viewpoints. And I hope you
Thank you
did
so
too,
very much.
enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it. In fact, I would look forward to if I get to see some good comments there, maybe some feedback there or some questions there. That would be really nice. So maybe after that, I'm going to just check this video
Absolutely,
once
ma'am.
again. That would be, yeah, I would
Thank you
love to
so much.
answer and reach out to you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
ma'am.
much.
And for all the viewers watching us out, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Take care.
Thank you. You too. You too. Thank you. Thank you for having me over.